What's up, guys? Welcome to Promotech. Thanks for tuning in. The iPhone 18 Pro Max leaks are out, and everybody's fixated on the wrong things. A narrower dynamic island and a thicker camera bump sound like minor tweaks. But underneath those two changes, Apple is quietly making a set of decisions that will define how the next 3 generations of iPhones are built, priced, and positioned. This is the version of the story nobody's telling you yet. Let's dive right into the video. Let's start with the dynamic island, because the leak cycle around this has been genuinely messy. First, it was being removed. Then it was moving to a punch hole in the top left. Now the picture is clearer. Apple isn't removing it, they're shrinking it. Width goes from roughly 20.76 millimeters on the 17 Pro Max down to 13.49 millimeters on the 18 Pro Max. That's a significant reduction. But here's what that number actually means in practice. You're getting meaningfully more usable screen real estate without Apple redesigning the entire front of the phone. That's the part worth paying attention to. Apple chose the most conservative, lowest-risk path to improving the display experience, and they're going to market it as a bold step forward. They've done this before, and it works every time. The question isn't whether the narrower island looks better. It does. The question is why Apple still can't fully eliminate the cutout in 2026 when competitors already have, and what that tells you about where their engineering priorities actually are. Now here's where it gets more interesting. The camera module is getting thicker, up from around 12.9 millimeters to 13.88 millimeters. And most reviewers are framing that as a necessary trade-off for better cameras. That's true, but it's only half the story. The real development buried inside that thicker bump is variable aperture on the primary camera. This is a hardware feature that lets the lens physically adjust how much light hits the sensor, wider in low light, narrower in bright conditions, instead of relying on software to fake the result. That's a meaningful shift in how iPhone photography actually works at a mechanical level. Samsung introduced variable aperture on the Galaxy S9 back in 2018, quietly dropped it, and then never really committed to it. Apple is now picking it up years later, refining it, and will almost certainly present it as an innovation. That pattern, Samsung experiments, Apple perfects and markets, is one of the most consistent dynamics in consumer tech. Watching it play out again in real time is worth noting. What nobody's discussing enough, though, is what's happening to the base iPhone 18. While the Pro Max gets brighter displays and upgraded internals, the standard model is reportedly seeing a brightness reduction to create clearer separation between tiers. Apple is deliberately making the cheaper phone feel cheaper, not because the technology isn't available, but because they need you to feel the gap. That's a business decision dressed up as a product decision. The RAM bump from 8 GB to 12 GB on the base model softens the blow. But don't miss what's actually happening. Apple is engineering desire for the Pro tier more aggressively than ever. And the iPhone Fold, priced between $2,000 and $2,500, makes the Pro Max look like the reasonable, mid-range choice by comparison. That's deliberate anchoring, and it's sophisticated. Quick one. If you're deep into following every iPhone 18 leak, every spec comparison, every camera benchmark, you're probably managing a lot of tabs, notes, and threads across platforms. That's exactly the kind of workflow Wallverse was built for. It pulls everything into one organized space so you're not losing track of the details that matter. Links in the description. Worth a look. By the way, more than 70% of the people watching this right now aren't subscribed to this channel. Not asking for a favor here. If you want coverage that goes past the spec sheet and actually unpacks why these decisions are being made and what they mean for you long-term, this is the channel for that. One tap. That's it. Here's what I keep sitting with after going through all of this. Apple is entering the Fold market at $2,000 to $2,500 with Touch ID instead of Face ID, a dual battery system, and what they're calling a crease-free internal display. If that crease claim holds up under real-world testing, it changes the foldable conversation entirely, because the crease has been the single biggest reason mainstream buyers have stayed away. But if it doesn't hold up, if 6 months after launch we're seeing the same crease complaints in a different form, then Apple will have done something genuinely damaging to their premium reputation for the first time in years. Drop in the comments. Do you actually believe Apple solved the crease problem, or is this just the best marketing angle they could find for a late entry into a crowded market? Take care and stay safe. I'll see you in the next one soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.